You're listening to Engage Williston, a Williston Area Chamber of Commerce podcast, brought to you by the Leadership Williston Class of 2025. Your hosts are Diane Schmidt, Megan Liss, and Carmen Delaney.
Engage Williston is brought to you by Western Cooperative Credit Union. You can visit their website at wccu.org. Join the herd.
Welcome to another episode of Engage Williston. My name's Carmen, and I am joined by Diane and Meg.
Hello.
And we're here with our guest, Christopher Walstad.
Oh my goodness, the formality.
Really excited to talk to you, Christopher, or Chris, as we like to call him. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to learn more about Chris and all of his wonderful work here in Williston. So, Meg, go ahead and give us our roadmap for today.
Yeah, our roadmap is all about who's Chris Walstad, a little bit about Chris and what he does here in Williston, life at Job Service North Dakota, and of course, as always, our fun little sneaky question we like to put at the end.
I love how it's been referred to as a fun question or a silly question. Now it's a sneaky question for you, Chris.
It's sneaky. Well, it's because it's a question we don't let our guests know what the question is, just so we can build the,
suspense.
Exactly.
And so the podcast ends just before the question's asked.
Exactly.
You'll do good.
Yeah. We're really excited to have you on the show, Chris. I know you are probably surprised or maybe not surprised to know, but Meg and I for sure have been we got to get Chris on this podcast. So
well, I'm honored to be here. This is an honor. It's a privilege. It really is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're so excited.
I mean, I feel like Williston, most of everyone in Williston knows Chris Walstad. So, I mean, the people want it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, you have a misperception. I'm a Williston native, a husband and a father of one. And grew up here, graduated high school here, and have moved away a couple of times, probably 3 times. And here I am back in Williston again, came back in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. So tell us about, where is it that you moved to and what brought you back?
Right out of high school, I went to college in Iowa and got a degree in commercial photography, actually. I came back to Williston, looked for work, worked at the Williston Herald as a photographer, darkroom technician, worked for a local photographer in his darkroom, developing 1-hour photos and all his portrait photography. Went off to college, the same college that my son is now a professor of in Ellendale, North Dakota. Came back to Williston for a while, then went to Glen Ullin, North Dakota for 14 years, and then came back here in 2010.
Wow.
So,
You just couldn't stay away.
no.
What is it about Williston?
It's Carmen and Megan. At the chamber.
The timeline doesn't add up here. I
not
don't
quite,
know.
but he knew.
He just knew
to
you guys
expect.
were here.
I really don't know what it is, to be honest. I think a lot of people, it's your family's here, and it's what you know and familiarity, and it just makes traveling to other places more appreciable, I suppose. So.
Yeah. I definitely get that vibe from people where they love to visit other places, but then they always love coming home. It's such a cool sentiment. Yeah.
We're in a great little area too, where we're by everything.
I think it's kind of typical. A lot of people, wherever you grow up, say, "I can't wait to graduate high school and get out of here," and then they come back.
Yeah.
That's see the world,
true.
and the world has so many amazing things to offer, but there really is no place like home. It's such a worn out sentiment, but it's true. When you have your community, when you have your family, like you're saying, in a place, it's really nice. But even when you are from a transplant from other places, I know the 3 of us are, we kind of build our community here and it becomes our home. So,
but I like the people. I like people, and I like the people of Williston. So,
yeah, and you are so important for the community. Job Service North Dakota helps businesses all over meet their staffing needs, which is so tough kind of in this time period. What are kind of the biggest challenges that you notice for people finding staff, keeping staff, specifically here in Williston?
Well, workforce shortage is kind of universal. It's everywhere right now. I mean, there's more jobs in North Dakota than there are available workers. So that's just a reality. And it's kind of changing a little bit now with the whole downturn in the oil price, and we're seeing a lot more traffic in the office. But there's a lot of different things that Job Service does. So my particular role, I'm a business advisor. So I meet with business owners, with HR managers, and say, what are your hiring needs? this is what we can offer to you. We're a state agency, so there's no cost at all to whomever uses our services. And they tend to find that when they use our service, they get pointed towards more quality staff, I think. And then the people that come in to do a job search find that they get pointed towards more reputable positions through job service if they use it. So, and then there's another program we call it WIOA, which is Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. People can come through there and get some monies available for education towards in-demand jobs in North Dakota. There's also the PRIDE program, which is a program that if people are in need of a job to pay their child support, they kind of work with job service and get them lined up with work so they can stay current and all of that kind of thing.
Wow.
And then there's also what's called H2A. We have workers that come from other countries, work for farmers here. A lot of them come from South Africa, work for our farmers. And then we have somebody on staff that goes out to do house inspections for those people that come from other countries. We want to make sure they're staying in a place that's good and clean and up to snuff with all the codes. So
I didn't realize that you
realize
guys, had all those services.
yeah, there's a lot. There's on-the-job training things available. It just goes on and on and on. So.
Wow. So it's definitely like a great place where you can find all this information. It's all at your fingertips. You'll have someone that can help you through these steps and get you connected where you need to be.
I've only been there 2 years, and I knew about job service ever since I was in school. I mean, we knew job service was the place to get a job, but since we're a state agency, there's no advertising budget, and so I think we're one of the best kept secrets for both
so
employers
true.
and job seekers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when I did first move here to Williston, my grandma immediately was like, "Oh, you should check out job service." And I was like, Grandma, it's 2023. I've got Indeed. I'm fine. And that is how, admittedly, I did.
So you know what happens with Indeed? What we're hearing from HR managers, you can go on Indeed and you can, in a short time, apply for 50 jobs, 100 jobs, and a lot of people do that. So then HR managers, suddenly their inbox is getting inundated with applications, and people don't even get a nod. They don't even get any recognition from the HR person because they're just buried with hundreds of applications.
Well, then the problem is that there are other Willistons around the country, and some people might be from Florida thinking they're applying in Williston, Florida, but it's actually North Dakota.
Exactly.
Big surprise for them.
Yeah.
Williston, Vermont, Williston, Florida, wherever it might be.
It's so
and that
true.
happened quite a bit.
But yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, like even, in my previous job searches, Indeed, I did have that struggle. Is, you're competing with so many other people and applying for that one job. I mean, they're getting thousands of applications. Having a recommendation from a trusted source, like let's say job service, I mean, that could do wonders for you.
Yeah, and job service vets every employer. I won't do any name dropping here, but there's employers in Williston that we want to get them signed up with job service, but in order to be signed up and register an account, they have to be registered with the Secretary of State, Workforce Safety and Insurance, and unemployment insurance. They have to meet that criteria because we want to steer employees towards reputable businesses. Now, imagine if you're working for a company that doesn't have WSI or UI and you're injured on the job or you get laid off.
You're out of luck.
You're out of luck.
Oh, and that's another thing that I noticed when I would do job searching with the internet, and Indeed, that there are all kinds of scams out there.
Oh my gosh,
It's annoying, and especially if you don't really know what to look for, you could really get yourself into some serious trouble. So that's really cool that people
so job service does the vetting so that we match people with a reputable job, and we get to celebrate the success stories. People come in and file for unemployment, and I'd like to make that clear: we are not the unemployment office.
Right.
We're the unemployment office. People come there to file unemployment. All the unemployment in North Dakota is all remote. There's no unemployment office in the state of North Dakota. So it's all done remotely, but they'll come there and file for unemployment. But we get to celebrate with people when they come in. I got the job. I got an interview, and they're all excited. So
that's wonderful.
it is fun. It's fun to know that you're helping because we put so much self-value into what we do and having a job. Right. And people come in sometimes devastated, in tears, upset, angry, a little bit hostile because they got laid off, they got fired, whatever the case might be. And then they get their job, and you just see their life transform. So you know you're a part of something big in their life. It's good.
That's cool.
And I'm sure that's amazing to experience.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, very rewarding, and it's a really nice space that you guys have, and it's bright and it's welcoming. It's very open. You've got the stations for people to kind of work on, and you've got staff to help people. It was kind of tongue in cheek with saying, "Grandma, no, indeed," but like it would have been if I could do it again in 2023.
Yeah, and
it would
people
have
come
been cool
in
to stop
and
by.
they build their resumes there. We've got a program that helped them build the resume.
Oh, really?
And our front desk, Brenda and Brooke that work at the front desk are amazing, and they'll help you build a resume when you come in there.
Right.
And of course, there's no cost for the services.
Yeah.
So just a lot of great resources happen at that place. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your location is right off of Main Street, right?
422 First Avenue.
There you go.
West.
So if you ever want to stop in and chat with someone, that's where
Yeah.
you'll find them. And of course, you have a website online where people can find those resources as well.
JobsND.com. Go to JobsND.com. I think there's 13,000 jobs posted. For North Dakota, there's about 2,000 open jobs in Williams County alone. So
Right.
Wow.
And I noticed like with the government shutdown as well, you have resources on there that can help direct people, to anything that they might need.
And
in this
absolutely,
time.
we have even a resource sheet put together in the office.
Right.
If people come in and they need something with housing or some social service needs, we got a whole list and all the phone numbers. It's all available to them right there as well.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. And it is really awesome. You definitely work a lot with the chamber, which is great. You come to our networking events, and especially Brew Your Business. It's great when you get to meet a new business and you hand them your card and you're like, if you have any staffing needs, come talk to me as the business advisor. So that's
I love those opportunities. Thank
It's
you
so
for
great.
affording them to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes, you make a contact and it's months down the road before they call you back and say, hey, can I get registered with Job Service? So, yeah.
Well, I think one of the fun things about you, Chris, is that when you
Can't wait to
meet
hear
Chris,
this.
here I'm gonna butter you up a little bit. When you meet Chris, in the wild, wherever you might be, it's such a delight. It's an experience. You have this kindness about you, this welcoming energy that you really do find the good in people, and you like to help. And I think that is it's wonderful in this time. It makes people gravitate towards you. So
Thank
you do have that.
I like people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're willing to share your knowledge with anyone who will listen.
Oh my gosh, the stories that I've learned from Chris.
Oh, yeah.
The stories.
It's a little bit of a history.
I never
buff.
thought I'd talk like an old guy, but I guess eventually it happens, doesn't it?
It comes for all of us. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But it's a joy. Yeah.
Too fun, yeah.
And it is interesting because I remember I stopped in your office once and I noticed all the amazing pictures that you have up, and knowing that you were a commercial photography major, it makes sense. You've got a great eye for design, and you have such a great spirit where you can connect these people. So it's just through and
I
through.
was
You're
never a
great
people
person.
photographer because I'm just, maybe insecure with people. I could talk to 1,000 people easy, but 1-to-1 or like this is a little intimidating. So,
Well, you're doing great.
Well, the conundrum might be for some people, and I make no bones about it, I'm visually impaired, and yet I've got this degree in photography. I don't drive a car. I always love the term, he's legally blind, as opposed to illegally blind.
Yes, right.
So
Can't cross that threshold.
So anything I do is all legal, so it's well within the confines of the law. But anyway, so I have fun with that as well. But I didn't know I couldn't take pictures. Nobody told me I couldn't. So.
No, it's great. Seriously, the pictures that you do have up in your office are really beautiful.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're lucky enough to feature some of them in our directory. That's gonna
those
be
are just
a physical
snapshots.
directory.
Those are
They're
snapshots.
wonderful. Wonderful. We'll see.
Taken
We'll
in front of our local coffee shop.
Yeah.
We'll see, maybe.
Yeah. But no, and like Diane was saying, it really is really great. I want to hear more about your experience meeting Chris with Leadership Williston.
Oh,
Diane.
yes.
Yeah, well, he came and spoke with their class, and he kind of just, really challenged us to make a difference in the community, right? And because of that, I did run for the school board because it was kind of like, you hear all these people complain about what's going on around Williston and this and that, and no one is really stepping up to make any changes whatsoever, right? Everyone wants to complain, but nobody wants to step up and make those changes, make those hard decisions, listen to everyone, take everyone's feedback into consideration. And I've always been taught, you either are part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I really want to put myself out there. For one, I didn't know if I wanted to be known as somebody who was on the school board because of all of the negative that had been, that had followed the school board. And then in listening to Chris talk about all the stuff that he was a part of and doing this and that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, okay, well, let me write this all down.
Inspirational.
Let me see.
You're
And he's
so
like, go
kind.
to their website. And I'm like, and then I read their website. And then it came out, and I was so judging my responses. Like, oh my gosh, I misspelled that word. Oh my gosh, and here I am judging myself. And all I could think about was, you know what? I did it. That's all that matters is I put myself out there. I decided that if I wanted the community to be better, that I needed to step out of my comfort zone and do that.
Right.
And Chris was talking about all these things and, because you were still part of the school board, and you were like, my seat is coming up, and I'm like, do I really want to follow? You know what I mean? Like,
No,
do
that's
I really
so
want to
valid.
be,
Big shoes to
his
fill.
replacement?
Yeah.
Those are big shoes to fill. And so I just took a leap of faith and did it. I kind of kicked myself for not campaigning more. I wish I would have done that, but I was just like, that's not who I am as a person. So I didn't want to be fake and not be the person I truly am. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't go out and campaign, because that's not who I am. Like, you just have to know me, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I'm really proud of you for doing that.
Well, thank
and
you.
thank you for the kind words, by the way. There'll be a lot of opportunities for you in the future to put
I
your
hope
name
so,
out there
yeah.
and be on the board again. I mean, it's kind of the classic thing. Our social media is just made such a different culture in the day that we live in. And on social media, it's so easy to make a point, but you don't make a difference.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and the biggest thing is, prior to moving here, I did work, and I've talked about it, working at a maximum security prison. And so I didn't talk about my personal life. I was very sheltered in that. I didn't share, who my spouse was, how many children I had, none of that. And so putting myself out there in that possible position was really stepping out of my comfort zone, because I never put anything personal online. Like, even my Facebook page, you could probably find me, but you're not going to have anything. There's nothing personal, where I live, where I work, because of that security reason, that security risk. I didn't want to put myself or my family in danger. So, putting in for that school board was really, truly stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I have friends whose, spouses are on school boards in different areas of the country, and they're like, I can't believe you're doing that. You're really, and I'm like, it's fine. It'll be fine. Yeah. But
What I find, a lot of times with people on boards, not so much, you can be on the board, but your constituents, everybody's emotional. Not everybody's rational. And a lot of times emotional decisions are made, or emotional topics are brought up
right.
that needs a rational answer, just a wise answer instead of an emotional one. And so you got to pull back sometimes on those boards and say, what would be the wise thing to do, not the emotional thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of my introduction to
You
Chris.
can do it.
I'd never heard him before. I'd never, you see the school board and you're like, that guy kind of looks familiar, but you don't really know. And you run into all these people out in the community, and you don't really know how much of an impact they make.
Yeah.
And you've been on the school board, you've been on other boards. So, I mean, it's great to have you here and talk about
sometimes you get
some
in
of those.
places of leadership, Diane, not because you're the smartest person. It was just an opening and you got in. I mean, and you don't have to be the smartest person. Just like I say, pull back and just be wise on some decisions. Educated. I don't think it made a huge difference on our school board here. It was just a privilege to serve our community, and it was an opportunity for leadership. I was on another school board in Glenelg in North Dakota for 12 years. It was a great experience. This school board, way different than that school board.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, and it's all about action, like you guys were saying. It's one thing to think about making a difference, but when you actually apply yourself, even if you provide different insight than what is asked, as long as you're applying yourself and making that action and that change, you're doing something for our community.
Well, and it's such a good education for somebody that's on the board. You learn a lot about people, but you learn a lot about boardsmanship.
Right.
And it's just a great education all the way around, yeah.
Right.
Well, and the biggest thing is that you are acting together. It's not just one person.
Right.
You guys have to agree on something. And I think that's part of what the community doesn't understand, is that even though you're on the school board, it's a group effort to make these changes.
The only time you have voice on a board is when you speak as a board, not the individual. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of boards, Chris, you do a whole lot of stuff. We briefly skimmed over it a little bit ago, but you are on some committee boards. You're in the community. You're doing stuff. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? What does Chris do in our community?
Well, I think my most important role probably is serving as an ambassador for the Williston area Chamber.
That is
of
the
Commerce.
right.
A very great
that's
answer.
number one. the workforce committee for the Chamber of Commerce.
That's right. Yeah.
What other boards am I on with the Chamber of Commerce? No, a Board of County Commissioners.
Yes.
I've been on there for just about a year.
Wow.
Truly a joy. It's just a lot of fun to serve our community. It's an amazing time to be a part of that. And then I'm really not even sure how I got involved in this, but there's a grant. The legislature in this last session came out with a grant of $2.5 million for our smaller communities in North Dakota, the Rural Catalyst Grant. And it's there to just kind of spark some vibrancy back in our communities anyway. So I'm on that committee with that whole thing as well. So
That's interesting.
Just a little thing.
Just a little thing. Yeah. That was only 3 or 4 boards that you
Immediately, right. Just rattled off. But what else have you done in the past? Are you currently a chaplain? Is that
I'm serving as a chaplain PRN at our local hospital.
Yeah.
And PRN stands for Pro Renata. We used to have a gift store in Williston called Pro Renata.
nice?
I had to look it up to find out what it meant.
Okay.
As needed.
You served without knowing what.
As needed.
Oh,
I'm a
it's
chaplain
fancy.
as needed. So
Nice.
just don't call on the weekends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
That's all I do.
That's
That's
it.
all.
That's it.
Well,
cut-
and
cut my
besides
grass.
that, you're participating, like Carmen was saying, in chamber events. You can always see Chris at most of your businesses, business after hours,
Milestone celebrations.
milestone celebrations. Yeah, he's a great ambassador
I'm
for
getting
that.
tired listening to all this.
I know. You do so much.
Are your shoulders a little tired from carrying all of
The
this
weight.
responsibility? But no, he is out there, and he's always trying to participate and bring what he can to any function or event. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. You guys are a lot of fun. Are we on the roadmap still, or have we just totally fallen off the
Oh
road?
no,
in the
we're
ditch
right on
somewhere?
track.
Okay.
We talked about job service. We talked about all the things that you do in our community. Yeah.
See, that's why we don't ask questions, so it just kind of flows. There's no, right or wrong answer. You just kind of go with it.
Well, I definitely want to come across as somewhat humble in all of this, But
And you really are. We're having to pull this out of you, all
We
the stuff
are.
that you do.
For
Chris,
our
you're
audio
very
listeners,
modest.
we are really we're over there trying to pull all these answers out of him.
Of all the humble people there are,
That's right. That's
pretty
right.
sure I'm
The
most.
best humble person. The most humble.
Well, the beautiful thing about this podcast is we really like to put a spotlight on people that do a lot in our community that might not be out there in the social sphere where people would notice how much you're doing because you are modest. You're not doing it for the praise. You're just doing it because you want to help your community. But you deserve some cheerleaders.
Thank you. And it's because of the cheerleaders you can do what you do.
That's right.
It really is.
That's
It's
right.
the people around you that make it happen.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's not like you're walking around with a sign that says, "This is all the awesome things I do in my life,"
Yeah.
But it's nice to get the acknowledgement from others that they see what you're doing.
Actually, the Board of County Commissioners, here's how this whole thing went down. I lived next door to Dave Montgomery, who's on the Board of County Commissioners for 20 years. Phenomenal leader, amazing leader. Just had so much insight in how to lead our county and stuff. And living next door to him, and he'd mentioned something just in passing, I don't know, a year or so ago about getting on this board. And I said, no, I don't think so. Last February, well, it would have been almost 2 years ago now, he said, I think you really need to think about being on that board. And I said, no, I don't know. No, you need to think about this. So we're out shoveling snow together, telling me this, and I put my snow shovel away and went in the house, and a minute later there's a bang at my door, and here's Dave Montgomery with all the paperwork needed to get my signatures and put my name on the ballot, and I ran uncontested. It's kind of hard not to lose.
Right.
Right.
Well, when they saw you, they're like, "Oh, I can't step on some toes."
I mean, come on,
here."
how many times have we voted for somebody? See, there's only one name to vote for. Well, who do you vote for? The one name.
Well, they wrote in somebody for the school board, that one.
See,
That
Yeah.
was a write-in, that one.
It does
Oh, wow.
happen.
Yeah.
It does happen.
But still, for him to come handing you
Yeah.
this thing, saying you really should do this, that
Well,
means that he really believed in
I
you.
stand on the shoulders of a giant. He's a
There you
great
go.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
regardless of how you won, like it was clearly something that someone saw that in you and
Yeah.
was like, you're deserving. Not just that you're deserving of this, but you'd be a good.
And like
be
any
really good
board,
at
you
it.
don't know what you don't know for the at least the first year.
Yeah.
You just kind of get a feel for the whole thing. Same way for you, Diana. When you get on the school board,
When?
it's going to be months until you really understand all the nuances of what's happening with that organization.
Yeah.
You're stepping onto a moving platform that's been moving a long time before you got there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think in general for anything, like I try to give myself grace whenever I start a new role or something. I'm say if I don't feel like I know what I'm doing after like 6 months, then I'll like seriously consider leaving this. But you got to give yourself time when you're starting something to.
Well, you're involved in a lot of things. You're Carmen. Let's see.
No,
Music leader, you've got your studio, the chamber. I mean, the list
You're
goes
like,
on
Chris,
and on
you're
and
our
on.
guest here.
I told you.
We already did a Carmen show.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got to go listen to our podcast about me later.
That's right. That's the one that you should listen to. Is the one about us.
Megan, what keeps you in Williston?
What? The people.
Yeah.
The people. Chris.
They're
Chris
amazing,
particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's that $1.
Well, I mean, I would like to ask you, for people who are trying to be a part of the community or who are just new to this community, what advice would you have for them just to get involved or just to relieve the stress of, integrating themselves in something so new that they might not know how to navigate?
So much of it depends on the kind of individual. Some people put themselves out there. Other people want everybody to come to them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to get involved in a faith community or volunteer somewhere or be a part of some organization just to put yourself out there to get to. I can't even imagine how hard it is sometimes to kind of feel like you're part of it. I lived in Glen Ellen 14 years, and after 14 years, still wasn't sure I was. I mean, I could tell you who lived in every single house
Right.
in the town, but it just takes time. I was an HR manager for Walmart for a couple of years, and in the orientation, I would use the illustration that I heard a long time ago. I said, there was this young guy moved to town, and brand new there, and he went walking around his neighborhood and wanted to find out more about where he lived. And he saw an old man in the garden working, and he asked the old man, he said, "Tell me, old man, I just moved here. What's this town like?" The old man said, "Well, tell me about the town you came from." He said, "Well, people were kind of cold and not very friendly, and they were backbiters and backstabbers, and nobody really cared about one another. They cared about themselves." And the old man said, "Yeah, that's what this town is like too." Later on, somebody else who had just moved to the neighborhood saw the same old man working in his garden and said, "Tell me, old man, what is this town like?" "Oh, tell me about the town you came from." "Oh, people were amazing. They had each other's back. They were there to help one another in a matter of crisis. They were friendly. They were outgoing. They wanted to embrace you and bring you in." He said, "Yeah, that's what this town is like too."
Mm-hmm.
That's what you make of it.
It is what
Yeah.
you make of it.
Wow.
What
Yeah.
you see, what you look for, what you seek is what will find you.
Exactly. Henry Ford, I love quoting him a lot. He said, whether you think you can or think you can't,
You're right.
you're right.
Yes.
So
I love that.
the biggest battle we all face anywhere we go, whatever we do, is always between our ears.
Our own self-negative talk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See, if ever you need wisdom, go speak to Chris. He's got
Yeah.
some good stuff.
Yeah.
Well-
He's got nuggets.
Last Monday, I was at the North Dakota Association for Counties, their conference down in Bismarck, and the guest speaker that was there, the motivational speaker, was at one time ranked number 3 in ballroom dancing in the world.
What?
Oh, wow.
A beautiful woman, and she was there. Well, the story's kind of long, but anyway, the day that she chose not to go to work, she's in downtown Boston. That's where the studio was, and on that day, she could hear all this shouting and everything that's going on downtown Boston. So she goes to where all the shouting and cheering is coming from. It's the Boston Marathon. She didn't know what it was all about, and she just had time to kind of capture what was going on. And there was a loud blast, and she lost her leg in that.
Wow.
One of the surgeons that worked with her said, "You will never dance again. You'll never run a marathon." And she proved him wrong. She did dance again, and she did more than she keeps running marathons. But she made a great statement. She said, people who speak those kinds of limitations over you, they're speaking about their own limitations, not
It's
yours.
projection.
Wow. Got
It was really good.
goosebumps.
Yeah, it was good.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
So you're saying I could be 6 foot?
If you look in the mirror and you say that every morning, I am 6 foot tall.
Maybe you'll get closer.
Good things come in small packages, so. Yeah.
Well, and that's amazing. And I know, I mean, you told us plenty of stories, but I always find it fascinating to talk to you and just hear about all these amazing people that you've met in our community, local in Williston. And I think, even if you think that you're in a rural area, the opportunity that's there is there. You just got to go look for it. You got to talk to people. You got to be a part of the community, and just, get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
It's amazing who's landed in Williston, North Dakota.
Right.
Just to get to know very well a woman that at one time did TV commercials. She was one of the Double Mint Gum Twins, which was a big campaign back in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, wow.
She did commercials for cigarettes and all that kind of stuff. Just really famous. She dated somebody who was a famous politician at one time. And here she is in Williston, North Dakota. But who would know? So
Mind-blowing,
it is
honestly.
kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of celebrities here.
Yeah, including Chris.
that's right.
All right. Do we have any more questions about the famous Chris Walstad? Or should we hop over to our fun question? Our sneaky fun question?
Our sneaky fun question.
We can do our sneaky fun question.
Are you prepared for this? I don't know.
I'm sure it'll.
I reserve the
some
right
other-
to refuse answering.
You
any of all
could. We'll just come
questions.
up with
I
a
promise.
different question.
Yeah.
This one might actually get you a little flustered here, but I'm sure you can come up with an answer.
But we're still going to ask it.
Alrighty, Chris. What's the strangest compliment you've ever received in a professional setting?
What would motivate that kind of question?
Well, you see, I have a giant list here of fun questions, and every time we get a guest, I go, this would be an interesting question to ask this particular guest. And I feel like you're such a people person, and you meet so many people every single day. I'm sure they've said a lot of compliments for you, Chris.
What is the strangest?
The strangest one. And maybe not, I wouldn't say negative or positive, just the one that took you by surprise.
Yeah, one that you're like, what?
Why don't you guys talk for a while I think about this one?
Let's see. Okay.
Nothing comes to mind immediately. On
Really?
that one. No.
Really?
No.
No.
I swear I've said a few to you. Remember your bike? I said, well, Chris, you ride that bike pretty cool.
What?
I've said that
You
before.
guys
You
make
ride
me-
that bike pretty cool?
Yeah,
You guys make
exactly
me blush all the
that.
time.
Oh, my.
How does one ride a bike pretty cool?
Watch Chris and you'll find out. I remember one morning I was going over to workforce, our workforce committee meeting over at the high school, and I was driving and I noticed Chris on his e-bike, and all I could think of was like, whoa, he is booking it. Those are high speeds. I was so distracted. I missed my turn and I had to go all the way down the street, and I was late to the meeting because of that.
You missed
So-
your turn off.
I did. I had to go all the way to the
That's a
golf
pretty
course.
strange
I
compliment.
had to go-
Bike. You ride your bike so cool, Chris, that you made me late to the meeting.
There you go.
go, that's the
Megan
answer.
answered her own
That
question.
was the answer. What is the weirdest thing Megan has ever said to you?
I have some,
That's
listen,
what the question should have been.
Stay tuned. I say a lot of weird stuff.
Okay, Chris, here's one. What has been your favorite event to attend with me and Meg?
Oh, I love this question.
Really?
Yes.
What's your favorite event? What
What's
stands out?
the most fun that you've had with us at an event? Think of an event that we just had such a ball, and you're like, I'm going to
slam
remember
dunk.
this event for the rest of my life.
Well, it's going to have to be business after hours, and I think
Yes.
I think the most fun one I remember with Megan, especially, was the first one with Megan, and that was over at
Midwest Metaphysics. Yeah,
That's what it was.
now Sanctum
Yeah.
Stone.
And that was my first interaction. I mean, I'd seen you at the Trail of Treats.
Trail of Treats.
Right.
I was at the Brew Your Business.
Yeah, but you introduced yourself. We talked a little bit, and you self-admittedly talked about how gullible you were.
Yes.
And I walked through that door and just had a great time.
That's
So,
right. All I remember him just smiling. He's like, this is
Yeah.
the
I'm gonna
best.
mess with her so badly.
And he did. And I caught on eventually,
You
but
did.
I can clock it now.
It's
Yeah.
okay, Chris. I did that pretty much the same thing as
Sure.
like the first thing she said that, and I immediately messed with her. So
You can believe everything I say. I'm always serious.
Well, he has this air about him where he's a trusting person, and who am I to question
doubt
that?
him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'll
she's
get
worked
you.
too much with me at this point now. It's gone.
That is correct.
Do you have another question on your list, or did we go back? You answered your own question.
I answered my own question.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably the weirdest compliment you'll probably get. Do we want to ask him
Ride your
another one
bike
here?
cool.
The one, that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For Helen too.
Okay, here's a bonus one for you guys. This is the third one. Bonus to the bonus. If your team had a mascot, what would it be and why?
If my team had
And I will let you pick your team. If it's your job, if it's your ambassador team here at the Chamber of Commerce.
I think it's Team Williston Area Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it would have to be a squirrel.
Why do you say that, Chris?
Oh, that's
Squirrel.
pretty self-explanatory, yes.
That is so perfect.
That's
I'm
not
so
how
glad
we
we asked that
operate.
question.
Our chamber has our attention on so many things at one point that it does feel like we're just kind of in squirrel mentality
That's a
all the
true
time.
story.
That is true.
You guys are a lot of fun.
We're a little
lot of
nutty
fun.
sometimes too.
We're a little nutty. and we store as much as we can. We keep hold of every possible resource that we absolutely
That's
can.
right,
Yeah.
and that's why you can never go anywhere, Chris.
I'm really
Ambassador
curious
for
if this
life.
podcast is going to go viral now.
Oh yeah.
This will be the podcast to
It
be heard
doesn't. I'll
around
be
the world.
disappointed.
We're
I'll be
going to put
sorely
a little
disappointed.
dancing squirrel on there.
Yes.
There you go.
You guys could, your faces on squirrels. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god. Yep.
I could get some merch for us going.
Yeah.
I
Chip
think we
chat.
can totally do it.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you, Chris, for answering all of our questions.
It's been an honor to be here.
and
today.
being here. Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for Carmen and Meg you'd love for them to answer for you?
We'll do off air.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
We like to keep those questions off air. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us
Yeah.
and chatting with us.
As
It's
always,
been a
it's
privilege, Jan.
fun.
Thank you so much for making this a part of what you're doing in Williston.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say
It's
it
a lot of
again.
fun.
Yeah,
We
people
have
like
way
to feel
too much
valued.
fun.
You're doing a great job at making people feel valued.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Aw.
I have fun. I enjoy it.
It's good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in and look forward to next time here at the podcast.